Okay, welcome back. It's the Friday Lightning Round. Your choice online. We had the vote, and the pick was Charles Krauthammer's wild card pick. Now, we have a live shot, I think, of one of the roads around downtown Washington, and you can see the traffic barely moving there. It's even worse when you get downtown. And I think on the phone we have the man, Charles Krauthammer. Charles?
Yeah, hi, how are you?
So you haven't moved for like an hour and a half?
No, I haven't moved. I'm in downtown hell, which is what Washington is after a snowstorm. It turns out it freezes over the day after the storm when people are trying to get home.
All right, so we had to get you on the phone because you won overwhelmingly your choice online. So what's the question?
Again, I remain humbled by the confidence of the voters. Here's my question. The president has invited the Republicans to a summit on health care at the end of the month. You're a Republican strategist. Do you boycott? Purely out of political considerations. Do you boycott? Do you go? Or do you come up with a trick up your sleeve?
Okay, Charles, we brought in Chief Political Correspondent Carl Cameron to play your spot here on the panel, and Nina and Rick are here. What do you think, Carl? There's the question.
Best politics is always good policy. Republicans have the polls behind them. The American people are skeptical. So they recognize that abject obstructionism isn't popular. The American people say if you're going to be opposed to something, you better come up with an alternative. So they got to thread the needle and do a little bit of everything. Be involved, have their own ideas, fight what they disagree with.
Nina.
Yeah, trick up their sleeve. They got to show up. Polls, you say they have their winner at the back, Carl, but they also have, there's also a lot of concern in the polls that the Republicans aren't compromising. Show them on camera that you are compromising, but show up with ideas. Show 4 clean, clear ideas and make clear that the health care bill that passed the House is dead.
Rick?
I'd bring a prop, actually 2 props. One is the Democrats' 2,000-page health care bill, and the other is what I would say the Republican idea would be about this thick. And you say, Mr. President, here are our ideas. You sign on right here. I can guarantee you 150 Republican votes in the House.
Charles, you still there?
Yeah, do you want the right answer?
Yeah, bring it.
The right answer is C, a trick. Here's what you do. You show up and you designate one guy who knows a lot about all this health care stuff as your only spokesman. You don't have people raising their hands and shouting questions. You pick Paul Ryan, who knows this stuff up and down. He's your David. You give him a slingshot and you send him up there.
All right. Hey, listen, we don't want you to get in trouble there on the road, so we're going to send you along your way. Are you going to come in here? Are you going back home? What's happening?
I'm going to camp out here and I'll make a fire and stay for the evening.
Well, thanks for getting on the horn with us. Okay. We will have you back next time. Be careful out there. All right, second topic, reconciliation, what the possibility is of moving this health care through with 51 votes. Carl.
Well, in a lot of ways, Democrats are right where they were when they began this process almost a year ago. They don't have the votes, and they don't know how to get there. So they're looking at the possibility of bringing reconciliation out of mothballs. This is the idea that does away with the 60-vote threshold in order to shut down a debate and put it down to 51. They recognize that if they go that way, there's going to be huge partisan fallout. Republicans are going to be angry. Centrist Democrats are going to be angry. Guys like the Budget Committee Chairman Kent Conrad is on the record as saying this would be a bad idea not very long ago. So they're still desperate for votes. They're still desperate for a way to get out of the wilderness. So they got to keep talking about these things, though they don't see the exit strategy yet.
Rick, they are talking about it. A few of them are saying, "Hey, let's just keep pressing."
And they'd love to get rid of the filibuster. Of course, when they were in the minority, it's a much different situation. I feel like we had the exact same conversation a couple of years ago. That's not going to happen. The Senate rules are the Senate rules. They clearly don't have 60 votes for anything that's on the table now, so they build up from what they can get. And if they can get 51 votes or something through reconciliation, I think they'll do that. I think even more likely than that is to try to build around the pieces, around the edges. And if they can find some discrete ideas instead of a big sweeping health care bill, some individual ideas that can get some Republican support, that's the best path forward, really.
Yeah.
We call this, we're talking about reconciliation now, but in a past Congress we called it the nuclear option. And,
it's all in the timing, yeah.
Yeah, the timing. But I think one of the, I'm going to praise the filibuster. I think this mechanism that is trotted out as something that is blocking Congress from getting stuff through and is obstructionist is actually a great vehicle for bipartisanship. It forces some bipartisanship on the Hill. Otherwise, we'd have the Democrats just ramming stuff through.
All right. really quickly, Olympics start tonight. Opening ceremony started with a bad news story about a Georgia luger who died in a training accident. But this Olympics has had a tough run already. It hasn't even started, Rick.
I feel a little bad for Canada because they want to impress the world. They don't want to show that they're trying too hard. The luge, unfortunately, this is a tragic incident. You need storylines in Olympics, and you don't want the storylines to be a tragedy. So some of the characters need to develop, and that's how you really get people in the American public involved.
Yeah.
Well, it's of course one of the problems is it's been, aside from this tragedy, is it's been warm there and a lack of snow. But I'm told that these athletes will perform even better in warm weather, and so I predict that our Vail girl Lindsey Vonn will heal and do better and win medals.
The shin will heal. There she is.
Yes.
Vice President Joe Biden representing the U.S. up there, Carl.
It only happens every 4 years, so you got to give the athletes their day in the sun. But it's been tainted by the idea that the extreme sports athletes aren't really amateurs. They're the epitome of pros. Half the Canadian people think it costs too much, and they're beginning to turn on their own Olympics. And let's face it, we could ship a few bulldozers of snow from here and help them out on the slopes.
That's exactly right. Charles can tell that story. Carl, thank you very much for sitting in, buddy. And stay tuned.